long way from home. This is Brazil.
Yo, welcome to the edition of the Delinquents Show of the U23 World Championships. What's happening, Big J?
All good, mate. As always, this, let's just say, what an exhausting 9-10 days that was, wasn't it? The under-23s.
Oh, it was exhausting looking at all the games and everything like that. But as usual, we have our declaration.
Yep. Welcome back to the Delinquents Show. This one features the Under-23 World Championships, where we don't sugarcoat, play safe, or hold back. We speak the truth. It's raw, unfiltered, and straight from the wheelchair basketball world. No agendas, no politics. We will break down the tournament and what we seen through each game. If the truth ain't for you, be advised. Stop playing this right now.
It's stopped.
So, yep, let's get straight into it because we're going to go through the first half's going to be about the group games. Then we'll have the half time. Then we'll go into the finals. And then after the finals, we've got a few video clips of some findings we've seen from different teams, good and bad.
And the thing is, we ain't going to go through all of the games because some of them were dire. They were dire.
As you know.
We're going to go through the major ones.
The tournament was split, I'd say, between a top 6 and a bottom 6 by a gulf. And the results showed that, you know, there was too many teams scoring 100 points, other teams scoring 20 or 30. So obviously we're not going to play a song and dance over them kind of games, but we'll give you the short info on them and we'll move on. So let's go. Let's get started.
Day one.
Opening game.
USA 80, South Africa 26. You know, regular runner of the mill. Didn't tell us really anything in that game. Tim Houston had 23 points, 9 rebounds and 8 assists. Mr. Almost triple-double, so you don't get an alert if you're just a Mr. Almost. Good to see South Africa back on the world stage, you know.
Yeah.
Then we moved to probably the game of the day. We thought it was going to be the game of the day. The second in Europe, Germany, taking on Australia. So we thought this was going to be one hell of a game.
Well, we had an issue with it, didn't we? It wasn't filmed live. The stream wasn't working.
You know,
so we had to wait until they uploaded the game. But then we was following the actual live game on the stat sheet. It was good. We couldn't believe what we were reading, could we?
It's a good thing the streaming weren't working for the Australians. Anyway, Germany ended up easy, comfortable win. They looked pretty, pretty in control of the whole game. Jaylen Brown and Ethan Lay were as cold as a bucket of ice.
Yeah, both of them shooting around 20%. And they're senior players with the national teams. But the biggest issue, Germany bossed the boards. So they've got size, considering, the arm reach of Jaylen Brown and that. Their key player for Germany and the game was Julian Lamring. 20 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, and the game actually finished Germany 65, Australia 38. So it looked like Germany he looked in good shape, but it was hard to tell from that game. The next game that came through was our boys, GB, was looking good, but they were playing the defending champions, Japan. And we thought, this could be a test for them. Well,
yeah, we was wrong on that one.
So wrong. It finished with GB 86, Japan 29. Key player for them, Charlie McIntyre. He had 6 points, 9 rebounds, and 15 assists. The assist king. Had a decent game, but pretty disappointing day one, really.
It was at this point. You thought it couldn't get any worse. And then the next game is exactly what we're on about. This gulf between, victories. Thailand, Italy. And Thailand lost 16-89. But fair play to Italy. They looked sharp.
They did look.
This wasn't the Italians that we seen in the Europeans last year.
They looked sharp. The game was really smooth. They moving the ball. They were solid, but they ended up winning 16-89. So nothing that we could really talk about. Luigi Topo with 18 points, 9 of 10 field goal. He was on fire, but it wasn't a great day on day one for competitive games. Day 2 started. But before that, I missed it. I have missed it. We finished with a decent game.
Yeah. And
the game of the day, Brazil taking on Canada. Absolute, what a game. What a game.
Yep.
The Samba Kings came into town, and boy, did they come into town. They got Sergio Jr., 1.5, bloop, 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 bloop. Triple-double alert, 21 points.
It was a triple-double alert. It wasn't a triple-double.
Oh, just
21 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. But we're talking about a 1.5.
He gets it.
The threes.
He gets it. He gets the triple-double alert. He gets it. He was almost there. Yeah. I think you run the stats wrong. I think he had 10 rebounds. But
the thing with him was this matchup, you had Sergio Jr. for Brazil, and Canada have this point guard, this 2.5, Ibrahim Odza. And it was just them two locking horns. It was a fantastic battle.
Yeah, and it ended up with a Brazil 63, Canada 53. Brazil get their first win on home soil. Absolutely brilliant. That was the end of day one. Yeah. It wasn't a great day one. The last game kind of helped it. We move into day 2. We thought, yes, now we're going to get in there. Let's have a look at Turkey versus Israel. My God. I don't even know what else to say.
This was bigger than the Pacific, this difference. Turkey, 111. Israel, 27. Can't lie to you. It was a tough watch. I don't think we did this after the first quarter, did we? We just followed the stat sheets.
Yeah. Turkey were, Osgaard had 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. Turkey were Turkey. They played it well. Israel, well, gosh, the gulf was massive. So then we thought, yes. We come to the red-hot Italians against USA, who had a great start. They both hit 80 points in their first game. I don't even know what to say. The Italians absolutely schooled. They absolutely schooled USA. Absolutely schooled them. USA didn't get a sniff. USA couldn't hit a barn door. They could still be shooting now, and they ain't going to make one.
Yep.
And that's the game of the day. Italy ran out 64-39 winners.
Yeah, that opened that group right up as well.
Yeah.
That loss for USA.
De Silva had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. And he's a 2.5.
For Italy.
2.5. Had a great game. But, it wasn't a great game. Then we thought, come on. Brazil, first win. Take it on Germany. Not too sure about Germany. Germany just ran over Brazil like a freight train.
Yeah, they did.
Like a freight train. 74-41.
Yeah, this was the moment Germany put the marker down on the tournament. They were clinical, composed, they looked organised, they read the defence so good. And someone who I thought should have been in the All-Star team, if not the MVP, Jacob Krumer, finished the game. 24 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He is some serious talent, that kid.
Yeah, he was good. He was really good. Well, the Lammering brothers are good too. So I expect to see at least those three in their Euro squad this year.
For the seniors.
Yeah, for the seniors. So then we moved on to Japan versus Thailand. Now, Japan didn't have a great opening day. Thailand had an even worse opening day. I don't even know what to say. The score finished Japan 73, Thailand 31. 40-point golf. Not really a great game to watch. You know, the less said about that game, the better. Then we're thinking, is it going to be another mismatch? It's going to be another mismatch. And true to words, it was another mismatch. We had South Africa 17, GB 100.
Yeah.
The golf is just absolutely huge. But there was an instance, John, in the game. Tell me about this instance in the game.
Oh, so obviously, as you can tell, the score finished 17-100. And the fight and the determination on South Africa, it never dipped. They tried every second of that game, they tried. Now, considering that score, you'd think there's only one team celebrating at full time, and that'd be GB. Well, let me tell you this. GB looked like they were rabbits in the headlights, because the last basket of the game was scored by Lukangu Dengu. And the South African
the place went wild.
It just went off. Even the commentator was flagging it up. It was just unbelievable.
You think they'd won a gold medal, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But it was one of those tournament moments. That's what the tournament's about. You know, we're talking about Paralympics down to 8 teams and just the elite.
That's what we're talking.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
We need to see South Africa. We need to see these African teams on the world stage, because it's only going to make them better. You know, only going to make them better. And for them to just keep going, even at that stage, it was brilliant. So that was the end wrap of day 2. GB finished with a massive totals. But day 3 started just as bad, because GB played Thailand. Another blowout, 90-21.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing with this one you could say was, we knew that was it now with GB. They've played all the teams that were going to be in the lower tier of the table. And this was the end of that lower tier with Thailand. But there was no surprise in the result. It was nice to see Rowan Olsen get a start for GB, because they've been playing some weird, a weird amount of minutes, GB. Up to this point, day 3, I thought the starters had played too much. I thought they didn't practice enough in the game so far. They were just penetrating and scoring in the paint. They wasn't practicing anything else, you know, in case a team stops them scoring in the paint. It was a bit of a concern, to be honest, during the early games. But we'll see how they get on later on the tournament. But it was nice to see Henry Kavanagh come on. He was the player of the game. 12 points in 20 minutes, 6 of 6 shooting.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. And then we finished off with... then we go to... what was the next one? Turkey versus Canada. Now, we thought that would be a tight, close game. But Turkey blew them away. Absolutely.
Turkey were monsters.
They blew them away. They ended up with a 95-56 win. They just played Turkey basketball. Absolutely.
And to be honest, in this game, it was that moment where you thought, hang on, we thought it was a Germany GB final, and Turkey are in the mix now.
Yeah,
after what they put on that game, they were in the mix.
So, as we move on, the game of the day was Brazil taking on Australia. What a game that was. And I think this game here was for position. You know, Australia not really started great. Brazil got that win. We didn't know which way it was going to go.
Yeah.
But the Aussies, they played, you know, it was nip and tuck all the way through the game. Absolutely nip and tuck through the game. What you was watching, John. Tell me about the game. Well,
the only difference with this game was, if you think about the Aussies' first game against Germany, both the senior players, Jalen Brown and Ethan Lee, shot 20% in that opening game v Germany. They were diabolical. That's the only word I could describe them as. Now, in this game, them two scored 59 of Australia's
Of the
68 points. So when they combine and they're hitting, they're a different beast, Australia.
But they ended up winning the game easy.
Oh, yeah.
In the end. 55 to 68.
Jalen Brown was a monster. He put beast mode on. 32 points, 23 rebounds, 3 assists.
Yeah, he had a great game. So, yeah. Then we moved on to USA, Japan. And we know Japan are not the team that they were 4 years ago. And kind of USA, I wouldn't say put a clinic on them. But they done enough to win the game.
Yeah.
And they
won
needed
it to bounce back after the loss to Italy, didn't they?
Yeah, and they won 60-39. Pretty comfortable victory for them. And the last game of the day saw a very poor Israel team taking on a red-hot Germany team. And it's kind of a stroll in the park, wasn't it, really? They just crucified them 38 to 60. So another solid performance. And it looked like Germany were getting better and better as the tournament were going. And they were giving...
That game just saw a lot of the German bench.
Which is a good idea, because the tournament goes on a long time. We know we're only talking day 3.
Yep.
Then we move into day 4. Woohoo! The opening game in day 4. Australia versus Turkey. Now, this game would be about to show who's top dog, who's going to be at the top of this, of their group, or close to the top, because obviously Germany are leading the way at the moment. And what a game it was! It was a cracker. It was a cracker.
It was war. It had everything. It had unsportsmanlike fouls. It had technicals. It had trash talk. It was a pure game of nutrition, pure war. I'd say the first half was scrappy. There was tension.
Yeah.
Turkey led by 3 at half-time, 28-31. But then the fireworks came after that. Poof, did they. What a game. Jalen Brown got a foul. Commentator thought it was his 5th. So he goes off, sits on the bench. Then everyone realises he's only on 4. By this time, Turkey have built up a lead. In comes Jalen Brown. Oh, and then there was Ethan Lee. He was giving it all to fight and everything. 2 unsportsmanlike fouls back to back. He's gone straight to the showers, ejected. That was the game done.
End of the
that
game.
Was the
they
game
were
done.
Getting back in the game.
Yeah, they were.
But a great game from Ozgur for Turkey. He had 21, 6 and 4. Big time play, big time player. They ended up winning 71 to 57. So we've gone from terrible games to 2 back-to-back barn burners, and we come into the game. The red-hot Italians taking on the red-hot GB.
No, we was on Canada-Israel. The last game of the day.
Oh, you know why I forgot that? Because it's so damn forgettable.
Yeah.
I do apologise. It was so forgettable. Canada and Israel. The most forgettable game ever. 96 to 37.
What was it after the first quarter, say?
31 to 6. You wonder why I forgot this game? Let's just move on. I'm not even interested in that game. Oh! Before I move on, triple-double alert, triple-double alert, triple-double alert. Chowdhury, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists. The first triple-double of the tournament. I nearly missed my triple-double alert. But hey-ho. We move on to the game I was talking about before. The red-hot Italians taking on the red-hot GB. Now, somebody's always got to go.
Yeah.
And it was a game. It was a game. An absolute brilliant game. The Italians started well. GB played really well. Oscar Knight was causing all sorts of damage. McIntyre was hitting from deep. But the Italians, typical Italians, they just clawed their way back in. They chipped away at it. But they just didn't have enough.
The difference was Oscar Knight.
Yeah, for sure. And like, we're talking about Oscar Knight. I don't even know how he's not in the All-Star 5.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't even know how he's not in. You know, what was he, second top scorer of the tournament? Or third top scorer? He was the glue that kept them, but guess what? Triple double alert, triple double alert, triple double alert. Charlie McIntyre, 15, 11, and 11. Second triple double.
Yeah. Nicknamed the General after that performance.
The actual General. So it was a great performance. GB ended up with a 12-point victory, 60-72. So GB looking at like top spot. And then it's just so strange. You go from one game that's really good to one that's like desperate. And the next one was Japan versus
the next three were desperate, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. So we got Japan versus South Africa, which finished 62-35. Then we got USA taking on Thailand. USA 96, Thailand 13.
Yeah.
And then we got Israel versus Brazil. Brazil 125
to 12.
125 to 12. We can't. What can you say about those games? The best
Well,
we can say is...
I can tell you one thing about Israel-Brazil. When a game finishes the first quarter and it's 30-0, that's it. You turn your laptop off. Read it in the paper.
Now, I want you to talk to me about this game, the game of the day. Australia taking on Canada. And Canada, let's put it right, they've been underachieving the whole tournament so far. Who was going to win this one? It was kind of a do or die, wasn't it? This was the do or die for the group stages, and it didn't let us down whatsoever. It did not let us down. No. Talk about it, JP. Come on, man.
Well, it went back and forth. It was literally Jaylen Brown in beast mode, and the General the orchestrator for the Canadians, Abraham Odzer. What a player. He kept him in it. He kept it back. Quarter one, I thought it was over. The Aussies win it 24-12. By half-time, Odzer's turn it round. We've got a 32-30 ball game.
It's unbelievable.
You think, is it going to go all the way like this? Australia take the lead. With seconds to go, Canada hit a 3. To close the lead, they were down by 4, Canada, and they hit 3. Aussie ball. What happened?
Tell us about it. Don't keep us waiting. Don't keep us waiting.
Aussies, hang on and get the win. Honest to God. They couldn't foul, they couldn't anything. It was just unbelievable. You wanted something in that 4.5 seconds to happen. Something interesting.
Yeah. There's got to be a foul. There's got to be something to stop the ball. Just give yourself a chance. But the Aussies ended up winning 67-66. Jaylen Brown with 33 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. So then we move on to the next game of the tournament, which was top spot. It was going to be for top spot.
Yeah, this was a battle for top spot in that group.
Germany, the red hot Germans taking on the red hot Turkey, and what a game that was. That was a hell of a game. A hell of a game. Germany are just ice. They're just ice cold. Their defense was second to none. They're triple switching. Everything about Germany. They had total control of the game. Total control. But Turkey didn't lie down.
No, they didn't lie down. They know how to brawl. They know how to brawl, Turkey. The only difference was, and you'll see it in our game clips at the end of today's show, they are the most organised, understanding zone defence, Germany, that it's just clinical. Everybody knows where to go. They know where the danger is, where the ball is. They were just absolutely a different animal. on the defensive end.
And I think the defensive end was where they won the game.
Yeah.
Because Turkey can be tough. They could be brutal. They played great offense, but they just didn't allow them second shots. Just didn't allow, and they ended up with Lammering with 31 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah.
Germany looking so good for this tournament. They're looking so good. Absolutely. And then we go from that great game where Germany ended up winning 81-60. We go to USA versus GB, and usually these are the games that you wet your lips for. These are the delicious games. Well,
there's history here. GB, USA. We know too well there's history.
Well,
wasn't this kind of history.
The USA played like my milkman. Failed to deliver. They just got killed.
There was a milkman in the game, Oscar Knight. We nicknamed him the milkman because he delivered.
Oh, he delivered. Jack Long, we nicknamed him the bank manager. 14 points, solid as ever. The general, McIntyre, that's his name. He's now the general. He had a double-double with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 17 assists. He was the key to the game. He just controlled the game whatsoever. And I'm being serious now. I think this is the worst USA team I've seen.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The worst under 23s I've seen. They just didn't have. They played it a strange game, especially as they couldn't shoot. They couldn't make a bucket from outside, but never changed. So GB won out easily, and I've never said this before. Easily, 98-58 winners. And then we moved to the last game of the day, and it was one of the last games of the day. Sorry, it was Italy taking on South Africa, and it was a mismatch. It's a total mismatch.
There was just too many mismatches. Too many. What was the score? Explain the score.
Well, at the end of the first quarter, it was 26-4 to Italy, and Italy ended up winning 101-20.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what I mean? It wasn't a great day for that. And then we start day 6.
Last day of the groups.
Last day of the group. So everything's decided here, or it's kind of decided already. We had Japan taking on Italy, another mismatch. Japan have total let down this tournament. They've gone from world champions to, you know, when they say the penthouse to the shit house, they're in the shit house. You know what I mean? 39 and Italy 66. And I think Italy took it kind on them, to be fair. Absolutely.
He used the bench.
Took it kind. But the next game we put as game of the day because it was a battle of the basements. It was a basement battle between Thailand and South Africa. What a game that turned out to be. Oh. Woo! What a game. So, Johnny, tell me that. We were so excited.
The last quarter, then two teams were knackered, but they didn't give up. The heart, the fight, something to build on. It was just unbelievable. Someone wanted that W, that first W. South Africa pipped it.
And then we had a key player, Nukarama. 42 points, 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. And they, 77% of the team's points he scored, 77%. They ended up getting their first win, since way back in 2013, so 12 years ago. Yeah. They hadn't had a win. They got that win. They beat Thailand 64-54, and Thailand, they didn't give up. That was a really good game to watch. We do, the other games is mismatching, but this one was a really good one to watch. Then we go to the next game. Well, the most dire Israel team that we've ever seen. Haven't put up a fight against anybody, and they're taking on Australia. Australia was just clinical, to be fair, in the game. Nothing to real talk about here because it was a dead rubber, really. Australia had already qualified. Israel weren't going to be in the mix, and it was Israel 34, Australia 70.
Yeah.
We go to the next one, the Samba Kings. Well, they've lost their Samba. They had their first day where they were banging them drums, boom, 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 boom. Well, the drums got a hole in it. because they got absolutely battered by Turkey.
They looked like they went weak as the tournament went on. It was like the fitness took a toll. They didn't look tournament fit.
No,
the performance dipped as it went on the tournament.
And it was rapid and it dipped, and we've got a triple double alert, Osgard, 11, 15 and 12. Turkey ran out.
It's August.
Whatever you want to call it. He had 11, 15 and 12. Okay?
All right.
Turkey ran out 69-34 winners. So then the last game of the day, which to be honest, we never thought it was going to be close because, Canada, they have got a young star in the makings in their team, but Germany just ruthless. They have been ruthless. And as the tournament go by, to me, it looked like a GB Germany final. I couldn't see anybody else, punching in that. But Turkey were there too. But if you look on results, Germany finished the group stages as top in their group, and GB finished in their group stages as top of their group. So we go into the quarterfinals. This is where the big dance is. And it's kind of strange because on quarterfinal day, you also get the games that don't mean nothing.
We're going to a break.
We're going to a break. Woo! Welcome back to part 2 of our under-23 World Championship coverage. And in part 2, we're into the quarterfinals day. The only problem is, quarterfinals day, we do have the games that don't really mean nothing, so we'll just brush through them because we've got 9 to 12. Nobody cares about 9 to 12. Everybody cares about the quarterfinals. The first 9 to 12 game was Canada versus Thailand. We always knew Canada was going to run out winners. They won 70-22. So then, I don't know how they do this, why they do this. They have a rubbish game and then they put the quarterfinals. Why don't they just have all the rubbish games that don't mean nothing first and then the quarterfinals? I don't understand.
I know. I've always thought that.
Well, I don't even know how to describe.
Game
I don't know.
Tournament alert.
Game. I don't know how to describe this game. I don't know. What a game of basketball this was. This game had everything. Had absolutely everything. I better tell you who the teams were. It was Italy taking on Australia.
Yeah, but what you need to tell the viewers is what we did throughout the tournament in games like this, where we thought they might be tight, is on WhatsApp, we'd message who we think's going to get the win. And in this game, Sinclair thought Italy would win comfortably.
And hold on, before you carry on, and you thought Italy would win comfortably. On the way the group stage had gone, you had to bet on Italy. You went Australia. That's fine. On
Australia.
Yeah, nobody believes you because you always seemed like you backed the winner. Nobody believes you. There's no evidence of it. You thought Italy the same as me.
Come on then, lad. Give us your predictions for the quarters. Italy, Australia. I'm going for an upset. I'm going for Australia. Germany will beat Japan. GB will beat Brazil. And Turkey will beat USA.
Well, Italy will beat Australia. I can't see any other result there. GB will win. And the others are exactly the same as what you said. I thought it was going to be, but I thought Italy, I'm going to tell you straight, I thought Italy, the way Italy are playing, the way the Australians are playing, there's no way Australia could beat them, but Jesus, Lord. Oh, my Mary, Mother of Jesus, and whatever their Catholics say. Where do you start, John? Go on, tell them. We had everything. We had VAR. We had every single thing. It was back and
forth. Let me just break it down as quick as I can. Italy edged the first quarter, and I mean edged it. But then, bang, the Aussies come back. And at half-time, it's 38-34 to the Aussies. That's probably because, as you've heard recently, we said Jaylen Brown activated beast mode. Well, in this game, he activated God mode. The kid could have walked on water. He could have done anything. The Italians struggled. He was trash talking. He was pumped up. It was like a mini Troy Sachs, to be honest. Game had a bit of a twist towards the end. So the duo, Brown and Leard, locked in. Third quarter ended 53-53. We've got a ball game on. And then the madness started. Italy actually went up by 7 with 3 minutes to go. Italy, break that in your head. Italy were up by 7 with 3 minutes to go.
And I said, and I'll say it, this game's over.
Yeah.
It's done now. There's
Now,
no way
you know we're in
coming
Brazil,
back.
and everyone's got the samba drums. Well, I could hear the angels from heaven because Jaylen Brown God mode was activated. So Jaylen Brown just went off. Absolutely mental. He was everywhere, rebounding, driving with the ball, transition. All of a sudden, Ethan Leard fouled out. There's 11 seconds left. And Italy...
Free throw line.
Italy were at the free throw line, yeah. That was it. Italy are at the free throw line with 11 seconds to go. And the game was Italy 65, Australia 66. So Italy got 2 free throws to win the game because they'd have gone up by 3.
Yeah, iced the game.
They missed the first one.
So
it's nerve-wracking now.
They
only go and clang the second one.
He could have put it anywhere, but the way he done it.
He clangs it, and the Aussies are on a transition. Whoa, gone. Jaylen Brown goes down the right side. He's defended.
Left side.
I thought he was going to take it. I thought he was going to take the shot.
Down the left side he went, didn't he?
Down the left, yeah. I thought he was going to take the shot. Did you?
I thought he was going to take the shot too.
Well, he didn't take the shot. He passes it to Mitchell Bond on the right-hand side, who is defended and cut into the basket. And if Jaylen Brown is activated God mode, Mitchell Bond has got Houdini mode on the ball because he just chucks this thing up.
He's going in a different direction.
He's going the opposite way to the basket. The ball hits the bottom of the ring, rolls up onto the ring, and goes in.
It's an unbelievable shot.
You'll see it at the end of today's show because we've got a video of it. But the weird thing is, everybody's celebrating, but not the referees, because we've only gone to VAR. We've gone to VAR.
And if you look at it, if you look at it in real time, we didn't think he got it up. Soon as we rewound it, he got it up with plenty to go. It was just a weird moment. The Aussies are celebrating. VAR comes on. The Italians don't know what's going on. And the Aussies win it. Jaylen Brown, 31 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. I don't know how he won it. I don't know how they won it, but that was the upset of all upsets in the tournament, I think.
Yeah.
The Italians go home with their tail between their legs when probably they shouldn't have. So then we go to the next one, which was always going to be a mismatch. It's absolutely always going to be a mismatch.
Yeah.
Half time, 39-16. This ball game's over. Germany and their locomotive express train just keeps on going past the stops. They won 77-35. Now, the next game was really interesting. But this was this is for 9th and 12th. We had South Africa taking on Israel. South Africa buoyed with a win they had. Israel, nothing. They ain't had nothing, have they, Israel, in this? And Israel ended up winning the game 62-55.
Yeah.
Really decent game that was.
It was.
Considering at half time it was 38-23. You know what I mean? So great fight back by South Africa.
It wasn't South Africa scored 20-10. They won the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but great fight back. Great fight. That's why we want to see them on the world scene. So then we thought, right, the next game, it was the Samba Kings, their drums had just not been beaten. I think the drums only started beating in the first game. They've been going lower and lower, and GB, too good. And the crowd for GB was unbelievable. They were like they were playing at home.
Yeah.
They matched the Samba Kings all over the crowd. The best thing about the game was the crowd, to be fair. GB easy win. 69-43. But you got something controversial to say about it, John. They're up by, 30? And something strange happens.
Yeah, we're going to show you in the video at the end of the show today. GB, with 5 minutes to go, are up by 30. 5 minutes to go, up by 30. And GB call a timeout. And I can't understand why you're calling the timeout with 30 to go, but I couldn't spot anything wrong. The only thing I could spot that was wrong is the fact that you're up by 30 in a quarter final, knowing you've got two bigger brawls ahead of you, and the starting five, your main starting five, is still on. Up 30, 5 to go. I just didn't get it. Unless, the only thing, my assumption is this. Addy, the coach, now nicknamed Floyd Norman from Disney, the drawer, because let me tell you, he needs to draw in every time out. I swear to God, whether he's a fan of Rolf Harris, have a look. Guess what this is? I haven't a clue. But he can sketch. I honestly believe Addy took a bag of clothes with him and a bag of pens.
Etch a sketch. What he needs is etch a sketch. That's what he needs. Etch a sketch. So he can draw and think. And he just feels uncomfortable if you don't have etch a sketch at timeouts. So
no,
Floyd Norman.
Comical. In every game, I'm talking GB are up by 40 against Thailand. He calls timeout. Now where is it? What do you need it for? Pack it in.
It's his comfort blanket. Do you know when kids, when you go away and you've got that bad thought that you forgot the kid's blanket when they were little, you think, shit, I've got to go home. That's what it was like. I've got to go home and get it. Yeah. Nice one, Floyd. But they run out comfortable, 69-43. So then, the last quarterfinal of the day, we thought it could be interesting. Can USA overturn Turkey? Yeah. I didn't think so. I always thought Turkey were going to win it. But to be fair to the USA, they came out fighting. That's the USA I know. And they led the first quarter 20-14, shooting at 58%, which was absolutely brilliant. But then the Turks went to work. Yeah. I don't think the wheels came off. The Turks went to work and they just became clinical inside. And they ended up at the half 38-38. They just were clinical.
Yeah,
because they got the size. And then
that was one of the differences. Effort took for Turkey, the big 4.5, who ended up being MVP. They couldn't match him.
No, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Yeah, it was easy. It was easy for them. They had a good fight. Like at last, America showed something. So that was that's what we wanted to see. So we had semi-finals day. And you're always looking for a semi-finals day. And we had some great games all the way along, I would say. The South Africa-Thailand game. What a game that was.
Yep.
South Africa got the next win of the tournament with a 41-35. And, yeah, they played
That was
really
like
well.
watching two heavyweight boxers in the 12th round, that game.
Yeah.
They were goosed.
Yeah, they were on knockout mode.
Yeah.
It was just punch after punch from each of them. And it was just who could stand last and South Africa stand. Unfortunately, Thailand didn't win a game in the tournament, but well done for being in the tournament. They came 12th and South Africa 11th. The next game, 9th and 10th. I didn't think much of this one because I always thought Canada could easily beat Israel easily. And they did. They beat them comfortably. 73-33, but Canada got this kid. Talk to me about him, John. You was well happy with this kid.
Yeah, Abraham Odzer from Canada, 2.5 ball handling guard, can shoot threes. He He crosses in transition. It's just great to see one of those mid-range players coming through the development scene. You know, none of these so-called three and a halves who should be
Yeah,
fours. He was
he's
a
going to
two
be.
and a half, and he was. I thought he should have made the All-Star team.
Me too, me too. But he's going to be an exciting prospect. And then we come to the 5th to 8th crossover, and Italy, who they threw the game away in the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
Just steamrolled Japan. Japan they just had a poor tournament, to be fair. Japan,
yeah.
in between winning it and fighting for 5th and 8th, Italy steamrolled them easily, 68-50. Well, then we come to the first semi-final of the day. Germany versus Australia. John's Australia, because he supported Australia in the game before. John's Australia against Germany. And I don't even know what to say. Germany absolutely pulled their pants down and spanked them. It was a spanking. It wasn't even a contest.
We had a game earlier on that we didn't mention. One of the German games where Jacob Krumer finished with 7 from 7 shooting. This 4.5 for Germany. He was 5 from 5 in the first quarter in this game. 5 from 5 shooting. They just didn't have an answer. I think if you could describe the mentality of the teams, the mentality of Australia was they thought the only way they're going to win it is that old Spanish style, outscoring you. They weren't going to outscore Germany. And Germany were going to make sure that they didn't get the looks they wanted.
Germany weren't even like a locomotive. They were like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What sort of train they're on? They were like the bullet train. They absolutely outrun them. They done everything. Jacob Kramer, he had 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, missed the ice.
Yeah, he was.
I'm telling you, that meant Europe were guaranteed to be in the gold medal game. And Europe's going to get a gold medal. But honestly, the third quarter of that game, it wasn't even a competition. And it's not like that for semi-final. But I tell you what, the next semi-final didn't let us down, did it?
No, but
We've been talking about this.
We had USA and Brazil for 5th and 8th crossover.
Who's talking about that game? For goodness sake. The Samba.
Well, USA won it 68-38. And like I said to you before, the problem was Brazil. I don't think they were tournament fit. They just, you could just tell.
Or, John, they brought all of their energy in that game 1 and game 2.
I think it was in that game 2 when they scored 125 points against Israel.
Yeah, then they were done. They were absolutely done. But
then we had semi-final too.
I'm going to say game of the tournament. Another game of the tournament. What a game. Our boys against them rugged Turks. They're rugged Turks. And it started like a war. It was a war. McIntyre dropped the first 6 points. And, Turkey just kept on chipping away. We had VAR drama, foul trouble, GB clinging to a 16-15 lead at the end of the first quarter. The second quarter, talk about it, John, the second quarter. And we knew this was coming. We've talked about this before, this semi-final. GB hadn't shown us anything that they could change the game.
Yeah. Well, we said earlier, didn't we? In the earlier games for GB, they knew they were going to win. They should have practiced something. It's all right getting in. There was one game for GB in the group stages where I think they scored 100 points. Out of the 100 points, they scored 13 shots from outside.
And any good coach would have recognised that. And we know how good Turkey are of developing. And what did Turkey do? What did they do, John?
They shut the gates. They locked the key out. They
didn't allow
said
nothing
you could
inside.
See, when Oscar Knight was screening up, they stayed right behind him and said, "Come on, then, if you're going to win it from out there." And what did GB do? GB decided, okay, we will. clang, 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 clang. It was a continuation. You wasn't trying to. The coaches never called a timeout to change it. This happened from the second to the third into the fourth. They were giving you the open shot and you were taking it. Now, you had people in the live chat saying, change something, change something. Put a press on, put a two-man press on. Call a play to get the ball inside, get Oscar Knight getting scoring inside. You're open down the left, took another shot. Now, as the game went on, Turkey didn't just nullify us with that defense of not jumping out. They also got the transition game going, which ended up causing McIntyre to get in foul trouble. And at the end, towards the end of the game, he ends up fouled off.
But
and everybody in the live chat was saying, right, who've we got for a 3-point shooter? Because we're trailing here. We need a 3. And people are saying Jack Long can hit one, Thomas Harvey can hit one. So we end up in a timeout. Our ball. You think you're going to come out to a set play to get a good look at a 3. There's no set play.
There's no nothing. But the biggest thing on there, they couldn't control the boards. They couldn't control the boards. Turk had an absolute monster game. Oh. He had 23 points, but it wasn't the 23 points. He had 24 boards. Yeah. Get that. 24 boards. He's a 4.5. Where was our 4.5s?
Yeah.
He absolutely destroyed them. Absolutely. And the Turkish coach gave Adi a masterclass.
Yeah, he did.
Totally
well, let me tell you this. We named it earlier when it was GB Thailand, when GB called a timeout. GB Brazil. GB called a timeout, 30 up in the fourth quarter. Well, in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, the coaches, all 3 of them, this Mark, this Joe, and this Addy, need to go back and watch that game and realise, when should I call the timeout? When did the game need to change? Because obviously they can't read that from the court side. Because I didn't see any of the 2 sitting behind Daddy, Mark and Joe, going up to him saying, listen, we need a timeout. You don't see them leaning forward saying, listen, we're goosed here. No change at all. It was diabolical. I felt sorry for the lads. But
and they ended
I saw it coming.
And it ended up Great Britain 52, Turkey 57. Unbelievable, yeah. Jeff. Unbelievable. We go into finals day, and we love a finals day. We love a finals day. And I always wonder why on finals day do they have these crap games? And it wasn't crap, to be fair. It was a pretty decent game. Japan 48, Brazil 49. So Brazil on the last day of the tournament go in with a 1-point game. And your favourite player was playing in that game. Talk to me, because you love him. And I think he's a great player.
Well, I honestly think, even at the senior level now, the 1s and 1.5s in the senior level, I think Sergio Jr. as a 1.5 is the best 1.5 in the world, even though he's a junior. He is something else. What a game. Now, this game, Brazil won it 49-48, but there was controversy. Japan led by 1. And then Zhao hit the dagger, followed by this chaos. Brazil go to the line and miss both free throws. So Brazil are up by 1. They've missed both free throws. Japan have 1 attempt to get down and score. Couldn't even get a shot off. Oh.
What did he think? What did he finish with, Joe?
32 points, 12 rebounds, and 1 assist. Double-double.
What an effort. What an effort from him. So that was a great game. Japan lost 48-49.
Don't quote me on that.
I won't quote you on that
point.
And then we go to the 5th and 6th place playoff, and we all thought Italy was going to win.
Yeah.
We all thought Italy was going to win, and USA came out with the gates flying and ended up winning the game comfortably, 64-55.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we got an Ashes rematch. GB, Australia. Always going to be a battle. Always going to be niggly. It's going to be a war. It's always about the ashes with us too. And it's no different. We've had these battles before, and wow, what a game, John. What a game this was.
Wow.
And, GB, like I say, this is the toughest game of the whole tournament. Because if you lose, you get nothing.
Zilch.
Absolutely nothing. And I've played in many of them, and I've been in when we've ended up with nothing. It's not nice.
Yeah.
So this was a fight for the bronze medal, and it didn't let us down, did it?
No, it didn't. But, I mean, after the semi-final, I could have wrote down exactly what would have been on Coach Stibner's scouting report for GB. I could have told you straight away what the Aussies were going to do. They were going to sit in, just like the Turks did, and make us win it from outside. And guess what? At the start of the game, that's exactly what they did. I couldn't believe it. I thought, you're not going to suffer the same way. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And GB came out swinging, but hit the wall. And in the second quarter, the Aussies manifested this 13-0 run. We had a game on, because outside shots kept being taken and kept being missed. It was only in the second half the momentum flipped when the substitutions happened, and the inside game was built by GB. It was built by Kavanagh. It was built by Barker. Yep, finally he got used.
Finally, do you know what I mean? Finally, we get Barker, who had a great game.
Yeah,
and those two changed the game.
Yeah,
they changed the game. They got the bronze medal, and I don't think it was planned. They just run out of ideas and thought, you know what? Just chuck them in. Let's just chuck them in.
I want to say this. I don't think GB had practiced situations. I don't think they had a play designed for when the scoring was drying up. Something to go to get Oscar an open look inside or a mismatch look. I don't think they practiced that. I don't think the coaches knew what lineups they had in that team. I don't think they did.
And it wasn't visible. And I think that I also think that they thought they could roll over everybody, and that was their biggest problem, because they beat Germany, they beat Turkey, but there's a big difference.
Well, I'll ask you this to end it on this team, GB. Besides the starting unit for GB, what was the other pressing unit they would have had?
No idea, because nothing. They didn't show anything. But my point on it, John, that is, they hadn't got better from last year when they won it. There was nothing, but they weren't better. They were exactly the same. They didn't have those ideas. They were exactly the same. What happens? Turkey, a million times better. Germany, oh my God, Germany out of this stratosphere.
Yeah.
This World Championships.
Yeah.
It was almost like Turkey and Germany used these World Championships as a stepping stone. Sorry, not the Euros. A stepping stone to the Worlds. And they peaked right at the Worlds because they changed a lot of stuff. And that's how we ended up with what we've ended up, the final.
Well, the new head coach of Germany should surely Haller, or whatever his name is, should have watched, if he would have watched it anyway.
Sorry, yeah.
But Haller right now should be talking to the under-23s German coach saying, right, we need that defence system in the seniors. Yeah,
but we need the three players. We need the Lamner brothers and Krohn. We need them in the team.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that at the end.
They were monsters, and what a final! The showpiece, the biggest game in under-23 Worlds Championship. The two protagonists, the Germans, taking on Turkey, and it was everything that you wanted. Everything that you wanted. But there was a shock. The locomotive looked like it was getting derailed.
It did at one point, yeah. I mean,
it looked like it was derailed, but not like British Rail in England, where when it's derailed, it's never going to come back on for about 5 or 6 days.
Yeah. Well,
it was derailed.
Germany ran out.
Time.
Germany won it 71-66. But the game had so much points, so many different points in it. Defensive errors, defensive mistakes, and then defensive sets that were just solid as a rock. I mean, it was It was unbelievable.
But at half time, Turkey were, what, 13 up, 31-44, and we're thinking, gee, Germany have not had a setback like this. Have they got the balls to get back in this game?
Yeah,
Well,
let that sink in. Let that sink in. Turkey was winning 31-44.
And they were in total control, weren't they? Total control of the game. All of a sudden, the locomotive has got put back on the rails, and off they went, Germany. What a quarter they had. It was
Julian
just
Lammering.
Backwards and forth. Yeah, unbelievable. We get to 108 left in 1 minute 8. The game was it tied at that time?
I think it was tied, or Germany were up 1. And then
Germany were up 1.
The woman
and
ref.
then the ref, for the love of God, why do you do it? Unsportsmanlike. It was just a regular foul.
It was just a common foul, 100%.
What happens? The Turkish coach loses it.
Yep. He gets a technical.
He gets a technical. But the thing was, what I didn't understand, the German ref just called it a regular foul.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the Brazilian one comes, let's have a look at a VAR. Why are you looking at a VAR for? It's a common foul. It's not an error. It wasn't an error. All of a sudden, he's told her it's unsportsman. It was never unsportsman in this generation, next generation, whenever. You spoiled the game that didn't need spoiling. You killed the drama.
Yeah.
Because Germany, ice cold from the line.
Yeah.
What happened? They had all the free throws, and Germany ended up winning the game. It didn't need it. Just stay out of it, refs. You're there to referee the game. You're not there to decide it. And I think they decided the game.
Yeah.
But
it ruined that game, that moment.
It ruined it. It ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. And it didn't need ruining it because we were all on the edge of the seats. Can Turkey get back one? Yeah. Can Germany hang in there? And to be fair to Germany, they were worthy winners through the tournament. They were the best team in the tournament.
Yeah, they were the best team by a country mile.
With a country mile. They were cool, calm and collective. Because even in that situation with the foul shots, they went to the line, bang, bang, bang. Game over. Lammeren, 36 points. He was unreal. Woo-hoo. He was smoking. And Germany, worthy gold medalists. Worthy gold medalists.
So,
absolutely.
That's the end of the tournament. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 video clips. We're going to tell you about them. And then we're going to play it. It's up to you if you want to rewatch it. You just press rewind, watch it again, see if you can spot what we're talking about. These are things that we spotted throughout the tournament. So the first one is GB Thailand. No organisation or discipline in the GB defence for switching or organisation in the zone. Just have a look at this.
Fella took Chiero. Chiero now putting the moves on Gray. Looking for Kong Pak Hao, who does well to set himself open. McIntyre hounding him. Super wit of Weerbring is blocked.
So as you could see, that was Gray all the way out, 6 foot out beyond the 3-point line on the Thailand player. If Thailand are going to score from the... Really?
Too good, as they say, too good. It's too good, isn't it?
But they get away with it. But if you look, they got a layup. Thailand. It wasn't made, and the shot clock expired, I think. But defending 6 foot out the 3-point line, come on, stay as a unit in the zone. If they'd understood and developed triple switch, like the Germans, which you'll see in a minute, you wouldn't be out 6 foot beyond the 3-point line on a 2. You just wouldn't.
Yeah, but the other thing is, it's not even on a 2. It's Thailand. They're never going to hurt you from there.
Yeah.
They're never going to hurt you from there. But we've seen this before.
Yeah,
we've seen this before. Is it becoming a GB trait?
Yeah.
Is it becoming a GB trait? We've seen it before. In the Paralympics, we've seen it. And everyone was saying, no, but we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Come on. Go on, John. Next one.
GB v Italy. So GB are in a zone defence and they're all over the shop. Anyway, it ends up either a foul or the ball goes out. So Italy get the possession back. Now, the ball's gone dead. Italy's got a sideline. You actually see Addy at the bottom of your screen tell Oscar Knight to stay on Baganelli, the one-pointer, which is opposite the attacking side. Why not tell him to swap with tag rest? Just have a look at the clip.
Spoils lobs it wide and it's welcomed by Uras. And Uras is fouled. McIntyre holds his hand up and concedes the foul. The two close friends from their time at Dinamo Sassari colliding on that last possession. Here is Uras from Spoils. Uras a three, buries it. Cristiano Uras from downtown.
That's what I'm talking about. If Oscar Knight would have been told by Addy to swap sides with tag rest, McIntyre would have had the confidence to go out and reduce that three from being taken. And instead, Italy got a three. Communication and organisation. That's what defence is about. It was slack. It was slack. The next one, Germany v Turkey. This is Germany demonstrating superb organised transitional defence in quarter one of the game. Have a look at it.
And away come Turkey, trailing by 6. They've been so dominant in these group phases, but have their backs against the wall against arguably their toughest opponent in the competition thus far. Al-Barak, Eroglu in space. Offensive foul away from the ball has been called.
That's how they end up winning a championship. Offense can win you a game, but defense wins you championships. So that was in the first quarter. To start the second quarter, Turkey end up with the ball at the halfway line to start the quarter. This is the same defense that's going on. Have a look at this.
And here we go, starting out the second period. Al-Barak. If it took. Eroglu was going for the screen, decided to go. Back, Al-Barak off the window, that's no good.
Now that's organised defence. That's understanding your roles, who's a danger, who to jump, who to switch. No one went, you didn't see anyone out 6 foot beyond the 3-point line, did you? So these are just things that we spotted. Then what we spoke about earlier, Germany v Turkey, the same game. Just watch the weak side defender for Turkey when the ball is reversed to the point. When the ball gets reversed to the point, the weak side has to cover. That give Krumer the open look. Just have a look at this.
Maxi Lammering thought about the three from the top, decides against it. Swings it. Great passing, zipped to Julian Lammering, who nails a two.
That's why we say put it through the point. Instead of skipping wing to wing, it has to be that way. Has to be.
And the thing is with that, John, is, because I'm watching it as well, it's just old school basketball, isn't it? It's old school basketball, but clinical basketball, because they didn't skip. So the guy at the middle had to stay with his man because the ball's there.
Yeah.
So he couldn't cover. If you look at, remember the semi-final game, GB and Turkey, because they were doing this skip malarkey, the guy in the middle, he was covering everywhere.
Yeah.
Left everywhere, easy. Left him to it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, Jeff.
So then, here's the clip of the GB timeout. We're going to show it you. You tell us what you thought was happening. Maybe one of the players can tell us, because as you'll see, the GB bench don't enter the timeout. The GB assistant coaches don't enter the timeout. Floyd Norman does, without his ball, which is rare. But have a look.
The whistle has gone, and two shots for Joel Nascimento, and a foul on Jack Long. And a timeout has been called by Great Britain, as I.W.B.Delinquents wants to chat it over. 5:09 remaining, 66-36 in favour of Great Britain. The winners of this quarter-final will meet the winners of the United States and Turkey. Going on over on court number 2 right now. It seems to be a close one right now as well over on court number 2. But right here we're going to the halfway point of the fourth period. Great Britain with the Union Jacks bearing the names of their heroes, inching closer to a place.
And like, I could say I've done it, but at that stage of the game, when we're 30 up, I've usually done it with, if I'm bringing a new 5 in. So you have the timeout, the only 5 that there, the others go in. And that's how I'll do it, but not there. I didn't really get it. No, I'm not really sure what was going on. You're 30 up. The thing
heading
is,
towards the end of the tournament where the big games are going to count. This was a quarter final, remember? 30 up.
When the game's dead, it just says to me you didn't have another option. You didn't have another lineups that you could play.
That's what
to give these guys rest.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. They didn't get rest, and then you play Turkey, and Turkey basically dismantled you, really. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have a plan B. Yeah, next, brother.
So, John Hobbs, the commentator, wrote to us on YouTube after the finals when we pulled him up on the comment that Titans had 5.3 seconds left, which he said was a 2-possession game. And he commented and said, if you spot anything else, let me know. So this is for you, John Hobbs. This is GB v Japan. You'll watch Oscar Knight pick for Charlie McIntyre.
Set the pick.
And then Charlie McIntyre rolls, draws the defence, and Oscar Knight rolls. That's called a pick and a roll. It's not called a give and go. Have a look at this.
McIntyre looked to get the strip, but Japan have 2 points on the board. 78-27. Now in favour of the European champions. McIntyre finds Knight. That's a beautiful give and go. And Oscar Knight has 9.
So, is that a give and go, or is it a pick and roll in our sport?
It's a pick and roll in our sport, John. It's a pick and roll. So there's another observation for you. Also,
keep learning, John.
Keep learning. Doing a great job. It is another point. Is John? It's Turkey, not Turkey. We don't call them Turkey. We call them Turkey.
Yeah.
Just a spot. That's all.
And the last video is got to be the winning shot. Mitchell Bond, Australia v Italy, the quarter final. Just have a look at this.
And 9 out of 10, he ain't making that.
Yeah.
He's not making that.
Yeah.
You know when they say it wiped its feet on the way up? Well, it wiped his feet, went back outside, come back and wipe his feet again.
Yeah, then he went to chippy over a field, got his tee, put the wellies off, wiped them, and then it went in. I couldn't believe it. But what a shot, what a game.
You couldn't hit anything else more than what he hit.
No. Couldn't.
I'm telling you, you couldn't. But yeah, that was probably the game of the tournament. Yeah. Really, as excitement. Do you know what I mean?
But I want to finish on a talking point.
Go on.
So this is the talking point, which isn't in the script. So I thought I'd throw you under the bus.
As usual.
See how professional you are. So the commentators explained in one of the games that 67% of the players that were in the under-23s World Championships will not be eligible come the next under-23 World Championships. Now, as we're recording this today, we've just found out Italy's seniors have just named their 12-man squad for the Sarajevo 2025 European Championships, Group Class A. And Gabriele da Silva Palazzari and Baganelli, the one-pointer that were at this under-23s, have been selected into the Italian men's senior squad. We think Germany are going to have a tough decision to try and keep out the two Lamrings and Krumer.
Well, to be fair, if those three are not there, then the guy don't know what he's doing.
And the question is, how many of GB's under-23s could or would or should make the European Championships this year?
Oscar Knight. There's no way Oscar Knight shouldn't be in there. And Charlie McIntyre.
I totally agree with you.
Those two, without a shadow of a doubt, they've got to be in that team going forward.
Yep.
Is there anybody else holding their way up? I liked what I saw of Barker, but I didn't see a lot of him. I like what I saw of Kavanagh, but I didn't see a lot of him. But for me, those two have to be in. If you're looking towards LA 2028, you've got to get them in now. And that's the same with Germany. Those three have got to be in so they get that experience going through to LA. Will it happen? I don't know.
I don't.
because nobody knows what's going on at MI5. Nobody knows.
Nobody.
It's a secret.
But that's it. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. The under-23 tournament is over. It's a wrap. Everything is done. I hope you enjoyed the show. Have you got anything else to say, John?
No. I'm Romeo done today. I'm burned out.
Romeo done. The boy is Romeo done. So enjoy. Don't forget the Delinquents Show will be back. Don't forget we had the Phil Craven. I hope you enjoyed the Phil Craven interview. What a legend. We've got a guest coming up soon. We've got more interviews. We got a lot of big things going on. We're not going to tell you about. Big. How big, John?
Colossal.
If this comes off, woo! Lord help you all. That's it from the Delinquent Show, under-23 World Championships. It's a wrap.
Welcome to our world.